Hola. I just got out of the shower, so my hair is like super wet. But I just decided to do a video because as some of you know who follow me on social media, I did decide about last month sometime, beginning of June, that I'm gonna be moving off island to Nashville. And it was kind of like a fast decision. Basically, if you know any of my journey or anything, about 2 years ago, the church that I grew up in, that my parents pastored, it shut down, and that took a huge toll on a lot of us, and just what life looks like here on island as far as church, ministry, reasons why we still live here. And then later on in that year, in 2016, the end of 2016, my marriage at the time got hit with an affair. And then all of last year, I was in and out of court, just fighting for my marriage, really believing that God was going to restore things with us, hearing prophetic words, God sending just a lot of people in my path that had either had marriage restoration or just a lot of signs last year that I needed to hold on, that I needed to fight for our marriage despite the affair, and that God was going to do a miracle, that He was going to restore things. And then all this time for 2016, 17, and 18, I was working 2 jobs and paying for my master's program to get my counseling degree. So during the whole emotional train wreck that was going on in my personal life, I just really held on to God. I held on to His promises. I held on to the hope that there was a miracle coming, that this was all going to be worth it, even the trial, everything. Like, I just had full faith. And so around I think it was March, so about 4 months ago, God spoke to me about Easter time. I actually passed my husband at the time on the road, and I felt like God told me for the first time in over a year to let it go, to release him. And it felt wrong. Like, it felt like, I don't think that's right. Like, I don't think that's what God's saying. And then in the middle of April, I received some news that just kind of confirmed, like to fully release the marriage and to let him go. And it just seemed so contradictory to all the signs that I had received, everything that I had heard, everything that I was hoping for. And so I quickly began to slump into a very deep depression. But I had to kind of keep my head on straight because I was graduating in May. So I just kept working and focusing on my internship and graduating. And the same week that I graduated, I went to the final court hearing where the judge basically granted the divorce and waived the 6-month waiting period and basically gave the papers right away. So in that same week, I also graduated from college. So there was a lot of great emotions with graduating, but there was this really deep like brokenness and just confusion with God. Like, what was this all for? What was the purpose? I don't understand. Like, I felt very betrayed by God. I felt very like, where are you? I did the right thing. I stood for the right thing, and you let me down. Like, you didn't do what I thought you were gonna do. You didn't do what you said you would do, you know? So I started to battle in May a lot of anger and a lot of I began to really go deep in just a really dark despair. And also, if you've been following me at all, it also came out about the time that my husband left, that we had an abortion back in 2014. And that was now the reason that was being used for why I was being left. And so already I struggled a lot with a lot of shame and guilt for the decision that we had made for our baby. And so getting that heaped on top of all the other emotions that I was feeling for just everything that was going on, that was chaos. I also now was dealing with this very open, vulnerable, deep wound with the loss of our child. So in May, all of this just kind of like combusted because I didn't really have that goal anymore for graduation, because I had achieved it, and because the divorce was finalized, as well as God speaking, release him. So there was just like, I was so angry. And so I just kind of pushed God away for most of May, and I just kind of did my own thing. And I was pouting. I was like a pouting child. Like, why should I trust you? You let me down. And so I just started making decisions for a few weeks on my own, and they weren't helping, and they were just adding to this like negative place that I was going to. And so in about June time, it didn't take me long to realize, like, despite the fact that I might be mad or hurt by God, I need him right now. Like, I need him still to comfort me, to give me hope, because I'm so lost, I'm so confused. And so in June, I just started asking God, like, where are you? Why aren't you speaking to me? And I just felt like God was like, because you walked away. Like, you're doing your own thing. You're not consulting me anymore. Like, when you were walking through the divorce and the restoration, you were so close to me. You were listening to me. And right now, you're not listening. So I began to ask God, okay, what do you want me to do? So he started having me purge some things out of my life that I had put in May to like help myself feel better. But of course they weren't helping me feel better. They were just adding to everything. So I started obeying. And the minute I started listening to what he wanted, he spoke to me and he said, you're going to move. You're moving. You're going to move. Let's move. And so the reason I'm making this video is because right now I'm weeks away from moving, and I get asked a lot, are you excited? Is this so exciting? And da 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 da. So I'm just kind of making this video to answer that question, because the answer is no. Like, I am moving to Nashville, where my sister is, my brother-in-law, my niece and nephew, and it's gonna be exciting. There's a great church out there, and there's great opportunities for me, and it's gonna be a great experience, and I know that it's God leading me. But am I excited? No, because my brother-in-law, he said we should write a book one day about, the title should be When It Feels Like God's Changed His Mind, because I think what everyone doesn't understand is, in the shutdown right now, like in shipping my car, in selling all my things, in moving out of the apartment, like, it's hard for me because it goes against what I felt God speak to my heart. Leaving Island, I felt God spoke restoration. I felt God spoke that this would be where I would raise our family. This would be where I would minister. This is my home. And I feel like I have to leave because I'm not healthy here. God is after my mental, emotional health, and that's not here right now. Everything here is dead. Everything here is adding to my my negativity. And so, not that moving is always the answer, but when God speaks, obeying is the answer, even when we don't understand. So this video I'm just kind of making, it's a long way of saying, like, I am choosing joy. Like, I am choosing to be excited. I am choosing to look at the positives of moving. But it definitely, as I was showering, I was just thinking, like, I kind of feel like Abraham. Like, I kind of feel like when God finally gave him the promise of Isaac and then said, now go kill him. It goes against your promise. It goes against the things that you spoke to my heart, the beliefs that you gave me, the words that you gave me. And so I'm making this video for anyone out there that is in a season of just, where are you, Lord? And what happened to what you said to me, and the words, the promises that you spoke to me, to my heart, the things that I thought you would do, or the ways I thought you would come through. And I think especially our generation, the younger ones, we're so emotional, we're so reactionary. So when we feel like God didn't do what he said, we pull away from him and we say, like, we don't trust you anymore, you're not real, or but I think these are the moments that really shape our character and that really shape our relationship with God, when we will keep our hand in his even when we don't understand, when we will choose to say, okay, I will listen, I will obey, I will lay down what I thought was gonna happen, what I wanted to happen. I won't be the spoiled child syndrome. I won't throw a fit and walk away from you and say you're bad and I don't believe in you anymore just because you didn't do what I said. At the end of the day, if we truly believe that we are children of God, then He runs our lives and He owns our lives and He gets to decide what He wants to do and when He wants to do it. And sometimes He speaks words in seasons that He needed us to hear in that season, and it may feel like He changed His mind in the next season when He says something else. But I truly believe that if you follow me long enough, you will see, and I will see, something in this whole situation in my life is going to turn around. And the only reason I would go down with this ship is if I choose to disobey, if I choose, okay, I don't trust you anymore, I'm going to take everything back into my own hands. And I know that God is a good Father. I know that He has a plan. Even though my heart is broken, even though I am in a lot of pain, and I don't get it, it doesn't make sense. So I'm not going to paint this picture like everything's peachy perfect and it all makes sense and I'm so excited. Like, it's gonna be great because God moves us from glory to glory. But right now it doesn't feel great. But recently I feel like God's speaking to me about, you don't always have to base your actions on your feelings. You can feel like this sucks. You can feel sad. You can cry. You can feel depressed. But what you do is more important. Your obedience, your choice to say, I'm still going to get in my word. I'm still going to believe that God is good. I'm going to rule my emotions. My emotions are not going to rule me. So I hope that this video encouraged someone and also just answered the question for a lot of my friends and family that are asking me, are you excited to move? Like, or you must be so excited. Like, this is a death for me. Like, this is really the final way of me really saying, okay, God, you really didn't do what I thought. You really didn't do what I believed, and you would. But I'm gonna walk in faith anyways, and I'm gonna believe that you know what you're doing, even though it looks like I don't get it. So I don't think He wants us to get it. I think He just wants us to trust Him and obey Him. And so I just encourage you, whatever you're up against, for me, it's moving, it's a divorce, it's the healing of my abortion. For you, it may be something else, but I just encourage you, hang on, trust God, give it over to Him, and He's gonna make beautiful things out of the chaos. So be encouraged. Love you guys. Bye.